Truth, Peace, Hotep, dated 1961. I'd just like to comment on this video as I thought that it was relevant that, um, Dr. Ray, really admit that without him really saying it, that he was discerning this event as being promoted as a boxing match because, and that's what Dr. Wesley had talked about. There was previous events and it was promoted as such. And then Dr. Wesley, asked, Sonetta not to promote this as such. And, it wasn't promoted as such, though uh, when you heard about it, it was almost like a versus situation. And, the atmosphere was presented as such. Uh, so, there was a responsibility of the individual to not get into that frenzy type of, thought in terms of what the discussion was or was not going to be. But at the same time, you're sitting back, and if you have that concern, I'm saying that to Dr. Ray, then you should have done your pre-promotion saying that this is not going to be, a Sarah City, Dr. Aline Bey, Natural Tahuti, Wesley Muhammad type of debate. That was your responsibility. Everybody knows that, you do that in terms of pre-promotion. You could have went on and done blog talks and, said that, this is what this debate's going to be about. It's going to be about in the spirit of unity, mayat, regardless of, what's being said. You could have said that just as simple as I just said. But to go to that event and do what you did, I didn't pay for it. I'm not going to pay $1 to see any of it. Because because someone had asked me about, what did I think of it? And I said, to me, in all fairness, the way the event went down, it was irrelevant. And there is a responsibility that people who do broadcasts, and this is not a simple thing that I do. It's not a simple thing that anybody does. I mean, truth be told, I have edited, columns in black newspapers, a while ago, since about 86, 87. And I tempered everything that I said. I checked my sources. Now, does that mean that everything that I say is 100% correct? Because all truths are half-truths and paradoxes all can be reconciled. Given the right elements, any truth can be seen as nothing but a half-truth. And then, yes, you have to discern within your own spirit the truth or whatever it is. But, in this particular instance, because, it's been a while since I've commented on anybody's video, I was not disappointed to hear Dr. Ray in terms of his response. I was not surprised. So, my thing is that, for the people that went around and wanted to promote it as a versus thing, that's shame on you. For Dr. Ray, who, talked to Dr. Wesley and expressed his concerns, and Dr. Wesley said, listen, we can back out of this thing, okay? Because, there are things you can get credits for in terms of airline. Sonetta could have took a trip somewhere, because sometimes, people do need to vacation and relax. You could have took a trip somewhere, or you could have refunded people their money. Or, again, you could have, rescheduled the event and promoted it the way you would have liked it. And then everybody would have been much more happier at the results. Now, again, back when Natural Tahuti and Wesley Muhammad, my call for on many videos was, let's get it together. let's not debate whether Islam is a black religion, because the truth be told, if it's anything that comes out of the continent of Africa, of course, originally was black. So just to get into the semantics, and if you really study African history of the people that were the honorers of the Kaaba, and where all that information came back from, do your study, you know. And it wasn't, one of those, versus thing. Look at the elements of what Islam represents prior to Muhammad. So, do your research. A lot of things, it's all about doing your research. All people were doing was giving people and some information to be brought, that they felt was relevant. And I think that's the responsibility of anybody in our conscious community. And I'm coming from, first the spiritual conscious community, and then secondly the social conscious community, because my belief is I'm spiritually aware and socially blind. I'm not saying I'm blind to the things that are happening, but I also thought it was relevant when Dr. Wesley Muhammad talked about a 7-year-old that got raped by a bunch of black men. It's just like there was a young girl here, Shania Davis, right, whose mother is accused of giving her daughter up for a drug debt, and then this individual sexually abused her and then killed her. We have a lot to deal with within our own community, how we broadcast things, how we promote things. We have to be a little bit more responsible, and Sarnetta cannot be the person that's going to control other people's, ways and means of how they deal and do things. Sometimes we have to take the responsibility. If we're going to go and broadcast anything, then let's get real about it. So this is not just to ride on this Wesley Muhammad, Dr. Ray Hagen thing. This is a call to everybody. We need to get it together. I've said it more times than none. We need to stop, get into these factions of belief and create a council so that we can move forward outside of this American system. We need to stop bolstering and giving more weight to the European than they deserve. And they deserve absolutely none. We don't need their approval. We don't need their assistance. And we don't need their guidance. That's what I'm talking about. Peace and blessings.